Believe it or not, in 45 days, I made over $10,000. Changed everything in my life. Proposed to my wife. Got my life on game. I truly believe that you deserve, and how you can get back to the world is being the best that you can be. So anyway, what happened to me is I got put on workman's comp as an auto mechanic, and it ended up being more months than I anticipated. So what ended up happening is I was very awful in debt, like probably $50,000 in debt. I was hiding my car from the repo man. I had pawned my toolbox, as an auto mechanic. I was getting a 10-day quit notice. I had no money, zero money. And you put that together with, my background, and all of a sudden I become very open-minded, extremely open-minded. So some of you might not be open-minded to this material, and I'll tell you why. It's 3 categories that this information, you will either not finish this information and won't apply this information. It's very simple. You're just too complacent. You're too complacent and you're too comfortable. You would like things to change, but not bad enough. Does that make sense? Or you might be a people pleaser, or you might be a know-it-all. See, I can't help people that already know everything. And it's hilarious how the more I learn, the less I realize that I learn. It just brings up more questions, right? So here's my point. When I met my mentor that I write about in the book, Bill, my mentor, when I met him, I was totally humbled. You see what I mean? No money, no hope, had a cast on my leg, was told that, I couldn't be a mechanic anymore. And so when I met my mentor, I'm telling you, I was listening, 2 ears and 1 mouth. And he told me about the book. He stood up right away in front of the room and he says, I'm not a genius. Can you imagine a guy that's a multi-millionaire standing up in front of the room and the very first words out of his mouth after somebody introduced him as being this really incredible guy, a really incredible guy. He said, listen, all I did is meet a guy, which was his mentor and coach, Larry Huff and Larry Thompson. And as soon as he got those people, then he turned around and said, listen, you need, not want, not should, you need to read Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, I know this book is about the science of getting rich, and you'll hear about that in a second. So my mentor would not talk to me. My mentor would not meet with me. My mentor would not do anything with me until I read that book. See, that's a sorting tool. So when you sort people, everybody thinks you got to teach them everything and you got to tell them everything. If a person's not in the right mindset to go through a book and spend a few hours to go through information to change their thinking, they're not worth your time. They're not worth my time. You see what I mean? So people, please help me. I need money. I need money. Here, read my book. Hey, here, read this book. Hey, don't have time. Can't even make it through the audios. Are you hearing me? So that night, I went out and got that book. I have a difficulty reading. I'm dyslexic. I made it through the book anyway. It was very difficult for me, but I wanted to spend more time with my mentor, and that was the price I paid. The wax on, the wax off. If you notice in the Karate Kid, you got to do the wax on, wax off. People go, well, I got questions. You don't ask any questions. You follow a mentor and a coach, just like Yoda did with Luke, right? Okay, so now here we go. I meet with my mentor, and I do exactly what he tells me to do. And believe it or not, in 45 days, I made over $10,000, changed everything in my life. Proposed to my wife, got my life on game, and that was 28 years ago. Everything went bam, 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 bam. Everything happened so fast because my thinking was all messed up. See, I already knew that, and they say this, is, you can't get yourself out of the situation with the same mindset that got you into that situation. Are you guys following this? So, moving forward now, everything's going great, right? I go out, work with one company, do great, hit number one. Go out there, work with another company, hit number one in the world. Go out there and all of a sudden, I work with another company, go in the top 10. Everything is going great, man. Got an incredible lifestyle, living the life, making money, have nice vehicles, traveling the world. Everything was awesome, man. I mean, totally, totally awesome. And then what happened is in 2001, I started my own company, and it all had to do with building websites. This is before MySpace, and this is before Facebook, right? So I built this company, and I'm doing really, really well. Everything is going great, and then all of a sudden, MySpace came out. And people were like, I'm not spending $500 up front for a website. I'm not spending $50 a month. And there's a little more to that story, but I want to get to how, the science of getting rich, right? And so all of a sudden, I get involved with the company with some of my friends. I go back into network marketing in 2006. So 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 years, I didn't do network marketing. I just took a break, and it was because of the way I was treated with the 3 companies before that. I kept building these groups to a large amount, and then the owners of the company would mess up everything, and it would destroy my group. So I did it for 3 times, and then all of a sudden, bingo. You know what I mean? So I just needed to take a break for 5 years, and did very, very well. You know what I mean? Purchased the home that I'm in now, and really, really had a great life. Then when I got into a company, and I don't mind saying the name here, it was called Tahitian Noni International. And a very dear friend of mine, Fred Herzog, that was underneath me in ACN, which was a company I left in 2001. And I was working with him, and he was helping me. I was now working with my son, Robert Hollis Jr. He wanted to do network marketing, which also pulled me in. And all of a sudden, we're building this company. And we put together a DVD, a system, everything that I've used in the past. And for whatever reason, it just wouldn't work. The magic was gone. The mojo was gone. I actually thought, ladies and gentlemen, that Robert Hollis, had totally forgot everything that I knew. Everything that made me millions of dollars before that, all of a sudden, it wasn't clicking. And here's something that I wish each and every one of you would listen to. I didn't know why. I didn't know why it wasn't clicking. I was working hard. I was doing all the stuff that I'd done before. I was piquing interest. I was putting, hundreds of people in front of an effective presentation. I put together what I believed was the best presentation. Other people were doing the presentations. And, and guess what? That's when I met Doug Harkins. That's when I met Ken Close. He's on here. Melody Riba back then. And I'm out there, and it just is not clicking. It was the most frustrating thing I've ever been in, where I knew all the knowledge, but it wasn't clicking. It just wasn't working. And I was like, what's going on? I don't get this. And with the stuff that I was teaching was sort of the opposite of what other people were teaching. 3-way calls, home meetings, home meetings, 3-way calls, all these things. I wasn't taught that stuff. So I didn't do it. So it went against the grain of the leaders that were already there. And I moved myself up ranks. I was clicking up ranks, even though the money wasn't coming in. I was going up rank after rank after rank after rank after rank. And then all of a sudden what happened is I get a letter in the mail, certified letter. And the letter says, we have been notified, Tahitian Noni, we have been notified that you're doing a predatory recruiting. that you're taking people out of other people's downline. I swear to God, I did not ever, ever do this. And I went, what is going on? And so right away, Fred Herzog, Bill Kirtley out in Florida, all the people that were in my upline go, listen, we know this guy. We learned from this guy. We learned from this guy in ACN and back in Equinox International and back in NSA. We learned from this guy. He did not do that. These are some jealous leaders that, for whatever reason, you know what I mean, said these lies about him, right? And they said that they were willing to fly to Utah into Tahitian Noni to fight for my rights to get back into the company. And I was like, listen, hang on. And at this time, man, when I'm in a bad situation, I'm praying like crazy. I'm meditating like crazy. I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on. What is going on? And so all of a sudden, what I decided to do is sort of just set back. And here's a phrase that some of you probably are not going to like, but it's true, is don't ask your creator. Don't ask the universe to guide your footsteps, to guide you in the right directions, and then get upset when doors start closing. So you say, hey, listen, I surrender. I want to be the best I can be. I want to be with the right company. I want to do what I love to do, and I'm surrendering. I'm surrendering. And all of a sudden, you get a termination letter. All of a sudden, everything you're doing doesn't work. And you're like, I'm frustrated. Why is it working for other people and it's not working for me? You asked a higher power, the universe, God, your creator, to guide you in the right direction, to the right people, to the right opportunity, to what you need to be doing, and all of a sudden the doors start shutting, and you're all upset. This is not working. Why isn't it working for me? Listen. You got to listen. You said, listen, guide me, but you're not listening. Okay, you following me? So all of a sudden, I'm sort of in a really bad place, you guys. I'm in a super bad place. I just got terminated from a company. I'm not getting any more income. I'd spent, probably a year building this group, going up through the ranks. And I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And in March of 2006, I got an email from all the people that I have coached and mentored. And they go, Robert, have you seen this movie? It's called The Secret. The Secret. You can go to secret.tv or just Google The Secret. And you got to watch this movie, Robert. It's what you teach us. It's what you taught us to do. You taught us how to think about experience, how to visualize them, how to put emotion and tie them into it. And then, it's what you taught us. And I'm like, what? Come on, Of course, I learned this from my mentors and my coaches, right? So all of a sudden I watched the movie and I'm bawling, man. I am crying because I'm going, wow, this is pretty incredible, right? And after I watched The Secret, which, by the way, if you guys want to watch it, you can go to lifemechanic.com/gift, G-I-F-T. And I'm like, wow, that's what I was missing. I was doing it analytically. I was doing it logically. I wasn't doing it with my heart and my spirit. I was treating marketing like a flippin' job. I didn't like it. I didn't like where I was. I didn't like, doing these presentations. I didn't like, working for the company. I didn't want to be a salesperson. All this stuff. The reason I left in 2001, now I'm trying to do marketing just to make money. Just to make money? I'm not a money motivated person. So now I'm trying to recruit people and train them and get them to sell. And it's, ick. But I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that I was doing that, right? And at the beginning of the movie, in the trailer, the lady, Rhonda basically went through a bunch of bad things in her life. Her husband died. She lost her company. You know, all this negative stuff was in her life. She was depressed. She wouldn't get out of bed. And her daughter gave her a book called The Science of Getting Rich. Science of Getting Rich. And she said, Mom, please read this book. Please? And so it didn't talk about the book. So it's like the secret behind the secret, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And so all of a sudden, I seen her, you know, as they say, I read this book. And in this book was all these secrets. And you know, I thought, wow, you know, who knows about these secrets? And so I studied the internet, and I found out that there was a lot of people teaching the principles out of this book. Napoleon Hill, William Clement Stone, you know, Earl Nightingale, you know what I mean? And then some of the new people like Jim Rohn and Bob Proctor and Jack Canfield that, wrote Chicken Soup with the Soul with him and Mark Vincent Hansen, wrote the Chicken Soup with the Bull and all these things, right? So on and on and on, you know, I'm looking down here, Lisa Nichols and John Ashroff, you know, all these people said, this is the book. It was written in 1910, 20 years before Think and Grow Rich. And Einstein said it's the book. Andrew Carnegie read the book, became the wealthiest person ever. They say right now, if you compared Andrew Carnegie's wealth against Bill Gates, he would be worth over 5 times with inflation more than Bill Gates. All right? And so Andrew Carnegie commissioned a guy named Napoleon Hill to go out in the 1930s and do interviews with the 500 wealthiest people on the planet to see if they were using the same principles out of the Science of Getting Rich. Well, you guys can see by my enthusiasm that I couldn't wait to get my hands on this book, right? And I got the book, and again, difficult for me to read, but I went over it, and I went over it, and I went over it, and I went over it. And ladies and gentlemen, what I did is I took it from the headspace, while a lot of you that are watching right now, recorded or live, the reason that things are not working is because you won't take them out of here and put them in here. You won't take them from the analytical place and move them into the heart and the spirit place. See what I mean? And there's where the magic is. That's where the faith is. And so it even says that you need to renew your mind. Renew your mind. So let me give you some quick stats about this. So Rhonda Byrne finds this book. She puts the movie together called The Secret. She finds all these people that I talked about and more that get on the movie, and she made $65 million from the movie by doing what was called for the very first time, which was pay-per-view. She did pay-per-view on the internet. People could go on there. You could probably do it right now. If you went to thesecret.tv, you probably could still watch it right now. But I know it's on Netflix. It's everywhere, right? So you could go out there and watch the movie. So once she read the book, and then she found out that other people contributed their success to this book, she made it a goal in her life to share it with the world. Did you guys hear what I said? All she did is took a book that was written in 1910 and wanted to make sure that everybody in the world knew about that book and the principles in that book. And she became a multimillionaire, bam, that fast. Did you guys catch it? Because some of you are going, this takes forever. This is good. That's a limiting belief. You know, it's going to take me forever to learn this. No, it's not. You got to be a giver of wisdom. You got to be a giver and give this information away. So as soon as I went on the internet and found where I could get a downloadable PDF, and I found out also that I could buy, I bought. See, I want to give to the world, right? And I found a way to buy the audios from Rebecca. This is back in 2006. And those are the audios and the ebook that I give away today on lifemechanic.com/gift. One of my goals in life is to make sure that everyone gets this. So as soon as she does the movie, then she writes the book called The Secret. And listen, I went online right before I did this. She's made $300 million from the movie and the book. 300 million. She was written up in Time magazine as being one of the top 100 most influential people in the world. When she wrote the book and did the movie, she was on Oprah. You can Google this. Put in The Secret Oprah. She was on Larry King a number of times. She was on Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, you guys, all she did is take the principles out of this book, share them with the world, boom, became a millionaire. Would you be, the 6 needs that you need? You know that there's 2 needs that are spiritual, right? You got to grow. Mastering the stuff of the science of getting rich makes you grow. And 2, you got to contribute. This lady now is responsible for changing millions and millions and millions of people's lives by just putting a new spin, her spin, on the science of getting rich by Hollis that was written in 1910. So, what happened to me to finish this? And I could give you documentation over documentation of this. So, I read the book. I start watching the video every day. Every day, every day, every day. I start reciting with my incantations the little part of every chapter that he keeps adding to. And it's like, I got it right here on my screen. There is this thinking stuff from which all things are made, in which its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces a thing that is imagined by the thought. You can form things in your thoughts, and by impressing it upon the formless substance can cause that thing you think about to be created. And you can back this up with so much biblical scriptures, it's amazing. And if you don't believe me, I can send you that link too. So some of you that want to see the biblical principles behind it, hey, I can send it to you. Just send me a private message and say, shoot them to me, right? So, ever since this happened, what happened to me? To finish up this video. So all I'm doing, everybody wants to know what to do, when to do it, when to do it, how to do it. I stopped everything in my life. I called my upline, Fred and Bill Kirtley, and said, don't go to Utah. Don't go to Utah. God shut that door on me. I'm going to settle down, work on my mind, work on my heart, work on getting excited and looking forward to my future. That's what I'm going to do. And so I started doing that. Then all of a sudden I get a call from Josh Flowers, a friend of mine that lives in Fresno. And he said, Robert, I got the meeting together. And I'm going, meeting? He goes, yeah, I got a meeting put together for Tahitian Noni. He was one of the people in my group. Ken Close is out in Bakersfield. And they want me to come do this meeting. And I'm terminated from the company. They stopped my income. And I went, I got to pray about this. Came right away. For those of you that are not getting immediate answers, you need to get connected, right? Now I'm connected. Now I'm not coming from this space. I'm coming from this space. And right away, it said, you promised to do this meeting. Go do it anyway. I went, yes, I did. I'm a man of my word. I said I would do it. So I went out and did a meeting for a company that terminated me. You guys get this? And at this time, I believe that I posted it on Facebook or something, right? And as soon as I did it, a friend called me. It was one of my old students and people that I helped become successful and a company called ACN. His name is Paul Henderson. I love him. He's no longer with us, passed away. And he said, Robert, why are you coming to Fresno? I said, I'm coming to Fresno because I promised to do a meeting. He says, can I have dinner with you and your son? I said, absolutely. What's going on? He had just started a network marketing company that sold travel. He was competing against a company called YTB and a company called World Ventures. It was called Pro Travel Network. And he goes, Robert, you got to come look at this company. And I sat down with him and he said, Robert, I want you to be a part owner of it. Let's go to work. You're my mentor and coach. Let's do it. And in 1 year, our first year, we did $10 million our first year. I made $50,000 in my first 50 days. Do I need to say that again? I ended up going through this to the book, listening to the audios, watching The Secret, and in a matter of a week, I went from no income to making $50,000 my first 50 days and being a part owner of a company that did $10 million its very first year. And to this date, Terry, my wife, and my sons, it was the funnest company I've ever marketed from. Because every 2 to 3 months, we were in a new place. We were going to the Cayman Islands. We were going to, the Dominican Republic. We were going, to Bahamas. We were traveling because it was a travel company. And the company paid. The company paid for me and my wife to go on all these trips every 2 to 3 months. Do you want your life to move that fast and that quick? And because of my documentation with that company is why I am where I am today. So people were watching me build my entire group. Listen closely. I built my entire group and that company in 10 million in 1 year and did it all from the internet. I did it all from the internet. No home meetings, no three-way calls. I did it all from videos, less than 10 minutes that was on YouTube. That was when YouTube would only allow you to have a 10-minute video. So I put together a presentation and recorded it, put it up in parts. I put the testimonials together. I put the steps to success together. I put everything together so people could point, guide, and direct every part of that. And do you guys believe that that system is not only the system that took me from 10 million with that company to $110 million a year and 4 years later? I had to learn to come from here again. And when I got re-excited, refocused, looking forward to what I could do on how I could share this wisdom and stuff into the world, bing, wham, straight to the top again. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Have a blessed day.